Welcome to the programme, folks. Hope you are keeping well. Thank you very much, Ollie and Mary, for a wonderful show again. Getting some lovely texts in about the fabulous morning and the weather it is in different parts of West Waterford and the city and East Waterford, all over, and South Kilkenny as well, over towards Carrick-on-Shore. Anybody who's listening this morning in other parts of the country or in other countries as well, please, please, please send us in your texts, send us in your thoughts. Let us know how you are getting on. Granny Margaret has just texted to say, wish Callum Morrissey a very happy 10th birthday. Happy birthday, Callum. We're going to be hearing from voices of people in Waterford about how they're coping with their current restrictions. I suppose you kind of call it interviews from the front garden. Maybe it might be the part or the start of a new series. We're also going to be talking to Tomás de Fuicha from On Rhine. He's planning to run 65 miles around his family farm for cystic fibrosis, to raise money for cystic fibrosis. Carl Leonard is going to be talking about kits, Carl, and we're also going to be talking to Gerard and a number of people regarding the Love Waterford, I suppose, initiative, how that is going. We hope to talk to Eunice Power as well. First anniversary of her Posh Takeaway and Chips, and we're going to be talking about people and I suppose businesses that are doing the takeaways and doing pizzas this weekend and different weekends. And we have a doctor on, Brian Tobin, who's going to talk about his experience, very, very good experience, very positive experience in University Hospital Waterford. So send your texts and your comments in, please. Keep in touch with us. I want to say hello to Betty Goff and her husband and all the Goffs as well. And also a special hello to the mammy and daddy of Dave Hearn. We got a big reaction to Dave Hearn, the piece we did yesterday. And Gemma and Declan in Inyard and Feathered, they were listening yesterday and they may be listening this morning. Special hello to them this morning. I know they got quite emotional when they were listening to the piece about Dave Hearn. So I went up to John's Park yesterday afternoon at a good social distance with my microphone on an extension lead, 2 metres from any person I interviewed. I met a few people and spoke to a few people about how they're getting on, cocooning or otherwise. And first I met Liam Doyle and Jim Hearn. Liam was in doing a little bit of power washing in his front driveway, and Jim had been just talking to him. Hello, Jim.
How are you?
What do you think of all this?
I know it's a bit too much, I think. I mean, when you're over 70, some people are more active over 70 than others. I'm 80. I mean, I'm not supposed to be out there. So,
how are you finding it? Difficult?
I find it difficult, yeah. I need to get out, like, you know. I feel better when I get out for a walk. Better being for my walk.
For your head?
For my head, yeah.
What about yourself? You're doing a bit of power washing here.
I am, yeah. Well, weed killer.
Oh, the weed killer, yeah.
But no, we're getting on good now, you know.
You finding it tough?
Not too bad now at all, you know. But my son was in Australia and he's out of work now since he's fishing. And the Building Islands, you know, it's all crayfish. All their stuff is going to China, so he's out of work now since November, the start of November.
Okay, I have to go.
Mind yourself. What would you advise people if there's anything out there? Just like, how do you get through today? Do you ring people, phone calls? Is there anything that gets you through today?
We get a lot of phone calls from the family. I go out in the garden a bit, like, you know. I do a good bit of walking now. I still keep within the distance.
Within the 2 kilometres?
Within the 2 kilometres, yeah. Apart from that, it's not too bad. It could be a lot worse, I suppose, you know. I could be dead.
And what about people saying that you shouldn't be out? What do you have to say?
Well, sure. I mean, I didn't meet 4 or 5 people, and I'm about 14 feet away from them. You know, I'd have to. You know.
I'll let you go on. Mind yourself.
I will. I've got to go.
Who's in the family? Say hello to somebody in the family there. Who would you like to say hello?
Well, I have a daughter in Dublin, Eve, and I have a daughter in town here, Valerie. Hello, Val. Hello, Eve, if you get... I see you. Take care.
Your daughter, Lavinia, is in Italy, and
she was in Western Australia.
Yeah, and she was on the programme with us there 10 days ago, I think, yeah. Would you be worried about her? Obviously, thank God she's still okay.
I know, we're in touch with her nearly every day. You know, you can ring her and that, and everything's grand. And the son in Australia, he's the same, he's grand, you know, it's just out of work for, you know, since early November or October or something, you know, and it started in China. But no, everything is grand. I have a daughter here, Ethel, she's living up the road, and I have a daughter in Bunman. She's great now. She even watches the mileage on my car and gets them after moving. She come in and do the messages and that, you know. And so we missed the poor grandchildren now, the two St. Haberlin, and they come in after school every day and stay for a couple of hours, and we missed them. They come down, just talk to them over the wall, you know, into the car.
What's their names?
Jason and Saoirse. Jason and Saoirse, yeah. And the two granddaughters in Bunman ring us every day as well, so we speak to they're older.
I'd say it's going to go on for a while longer.
As well, probably about another 6 weeks or 8 weeks, I suppose, you know. But please God, we just get through and that's it, you know. But
I'll let you get back to the...
we haven't a bit of a problem, you know, like...
Let you get back to the weeding. God bless. Who do we have here? What's your own name?
Margaret Costin.
What street are we on, Margaret?
Back road, I suppose we usually call it, by the school. My mother lives in 331.
What's your mother's name?
Mary Power.
How's she getting on?
She's actually in Arkeen at the moment. She had a bad fall at home. So she was operated on Sunday.
Well, we'll say a special hello to her.
Do, and say a few prayers for her as well. Yes.
In her 90s, 93 Mary.
She'll be 93 in August, so she won't hear this now, but hello, ma'am. Yeah, that's it.
How are you getting on?
Good, yeah. It's a bit of a pain like this, but has to be done. You know what I mean? I'm in because I was collecting medication and I'm doing a bit of shopping, then home. Yeah. Hopefully now with the weekend that's in it, everybody will do what they're told. You know, I know it's hard. People with children have to do it. If you want to save people, that's what you do. You obey orders.
And if there was somebody over 70 or 75 or anything going around for a walk, could you understand how they'd feel a bit frustrated?
Yes.
Or what would you have to say?
My husband is 73. Of course I can. Of course I can. Yes, because he's a man that, you know, loves that kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Getting out and about.
Yeah.
But he's there now and he's driving and he's not getting out. He only went into my mother's. Yeah. I went into the shop down below Centra, but he stayed in the car.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's...
You have to do it, though.
But you have to do it.
Yeah.
Now talk to Mary.
Hello, Mary.
Hello, Jamie, how are you?
You've got the gloves on. Are you doing a bit of painting?
Trying to finish the painting off.
She's doing too much talking.
Is it? I do more talking now than I did before.
What's the surname, Mary?
Mary Gleeson.
Are you here long?
Living here? 61 years. We're the old stock. We're the old stock, yeah. 61 years I'm living here now. Never moved, family home, and that's it. Yeah.
Tell me about the community here and how people look after each other.
Great, yeah, it was great, but they're really all gone now. Margaret's mother is really the last, and Mrs. Flynn at this side. Not many left now. They're all younger people gone in now, you know. But lots of people coming back. Joe's came back to the family home and someone else gone in there, you know what I mean? So they're a great community. We all got on really well, you know. But,
how are you keeping? How are you managing?
Oh, I'm grand. I'm fine. Sure. I live on my own anyway, so not much difference to me, you know.
She only has herself to bother.
That's all. And my brothers ring up, see how I am and things like that. So I'm grand, you know. The nephew dropped down the other day, stood at the gate, and that was it. So I'm fine. Just go down for groceries in the morning and get my pension and back home again. I went for a walk now around all right, but it's kind of eerie going around really. You know what I mean?
It's hard for people with grandchildren. I mean, I have grandchildren and that, and it's hard. I have one up in County Meath and that.
Say that again.
Grandchildren, people with grandchildren.
It's hard.
I know there's local people that have grandchildren and they can go and they're waving out the windows or they're coming to the door and waving. It's hard. It's hard. But if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. Do you know what I mean? We can't go. My youngest little fella, grandson, is up in County Meath. But they can't come down and we can't go up. That's it. So it's FaceTime, it's Skype.
But sure, you must be the same. Your parents are up the country, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, it's just very hard, you know.
I mean, he's a big baby.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
We're all babies and
Struggling.
I'm not doing that, and I should be doing
No,
that.
you're not. You're grand.
I should be driving a taxi.
You're a taxi driver, are you?
I am.
What's the name?
John Gator.
Hello, John.
How are you?
How long are you living here?
40 years, if not more. I've been one of the longest residents in Johns Park. I was born out here. I'm 68 now.
John, the taxi business completely gone.
That is. Look, there's a few people still working at it and looking after people in the hospitals and things like that. You know, but I'd be afraid to work in it because I might bring back something to my wife and my family. That's why I wouldn't bother with it. So I'll take the 6 weeks out and be finished with it.
And are you able to claim the the COVID payment, or how does that work?
I'm a pensioner.
So you can't get it?
No, I won't be entitled to it because we claimed it. I heard him talking about it there about 2 weeks ago. Because of people on pensions. Myself and my wife have our own pensions. And I don't do a whole lot with it, but it's nice you can have it there to do it. That's what I like.
How are you managing?
We're keeping the good side out.
How are you managing financially, John?
Financially, look, what I say to you is we're not struggling. We're all right. We're okay. That's what I'd say to you.
Yeah.
All my family are reared. I have 4 sons. I have 2 daughters. I have 15 grandchildren. That's the heartbreaking of it all, that I can't have no contact to them. That's the heartbreak of it.
I want to say a little message to them. Say hello to them.
Oh, look, they know I love them all. All
16 of them.
All 15 of them. I love them. I love the ground they walk on. But it is heartbreaking for myself and the wife that we can't get to them. Like we had a little baby born there 3 weeks ago. And that's his grandchild again, another grandchild. And it's we have all the photographs we need. But then I have one of my eldest grandchildren. She's doing nursing, and I admire her for what she's doing. She worked with Kenny Welch out there in the nursing home outside in Killore. And she's finishing her career this year. But she loves what she's doing, helping people. Fair play to her.
Are you a Liverpool fan as well?
No. I support that. My grandchildren support. He's the baby in the house now.
What's your wife's name?
Teresa.
Teresa, yeah. So you're painting here at the minute.
I'm painting there. I'm doing things I've never done in my life. I hope I happen to keep doing them, that's all.
You can't wait to get back into the car.
She doesn't know I prefer driving taxis. That's my youngest son.
What's his name?
Wayne.
Hello, Wayne.
Hello.
Wayne, you have the Liverpool jersey on.
I have, yes.
We're all Liverpool around here.
We're all Liverpool around here, as the neighbour said.
Wayne, tell us, what's going to happen with the Premier League?
Not too sure. I hope it starts back up because we want the cup, we want the trophy.
It'd be unreal if you didn't get it. Huh?
We have to get it.
We have to get it.
You get it if you win.
We get 2 of them next year.
It's 2 games, we're just win 2 more games and we're there, so.
Well, what would happen if they decide they're not going to go ahead with it now? And how would you feel?
I'll be very disappointed.
More than disappointed.
I'll be upset.
More than upset.
More than upset.
Worst things going on in the world.
You can't, 30 years.
I know. It's hard, isn't it?
Crack up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's your own name?
Finny.
Yeah. How are you managing?
I'm okay, yeah. I was working, but I'm off now. But routine has gone out the window, I think, isn't it? So yeah, just once you have a few bob and new food, we'll get by. It won't last forever, will it?
How are the children getting on? Are they getting bored? Is it difficult?
Well, I brings the dog for a walk and a cycle and colouring pictures, making jigsaws on tablets. You know yourself.
Spending more time with them now
than ever. That's the only person I can hug at the moment is my daughter. So,
what's her name?
Freya.
If Liverpool don't win this title,
he'll be mentally upset.
Go on, tell us.
No, we have to get it. You know what I mean? Even all the football players, managers are saying give it to us.
You haven't won it yet, though.
I know.
I haven't won it to go.
But as I said, we'll get 2 next year. We'll win it next year.
You'll win it. You'll win it when you win it. When you deserve to win it. When you actually get it.
This virus hopefully be gone in a month or 2, and we can get back on track then.
How would it make you feel if the Premier League was cancelled?
I'll crack. That's what I'll do. I will crack. I've been waiting for this 30 years, man. You know what I mean? Can you feel me pain?
So, I'll let you go back to Freya and the lads.
No
Thanks
problem.
very much.
Okay, no problem. Stay safe.
Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe. Some voices there from St John's Park, as a number of people have reminded me. It's only people from John's Park can say John's Park. It's St John's Park. There's a good one, actually. We should have a poll on that. Is it John's Park or St John's Park? Some texts in. Ed has said, Damien, the reason that some people over 70 out walking don't meet many people, like that man, for example, is like me. They're following the rules. We all want to get out, but we have to sacrifice our liberty for the common good. Good morning. There's a photo in today's Examiner of a man standing on a seat looking through the window of Tala Hospital at his brother dying from coronavirus. This is just devastating. There are lots of issues that people are going to have to deal with, particularly mental health issues, when this is all over. Another text. The Gardaí now have the power to move people on, and also those who have travelled to holiday homes. So what's going to happen there? There's already a number of them checked into holiday homes down in Tramore. We are doing our best down here. What's the point if they're coming from Dublin? What do you think about that? Another texter, any truth in the rumours that there's more people from Dublin and other parts coming down to Tramore and other holiday home areas? A text from Claire in Lismore regarding communion and confirmation. She's 2 sons and we're going to try and see if we can talk to her. A lot of people questioning, I suppose, what is the situation? Will there be a decision made on that? Good morning, Damien. I have to go for a COVID-19 test this morning. If I'm tested positive, does anyone have any suggestions how to keep my 2 dogs exercised? Many thanks. My understanding that some of the COVID-19 help groups are organising some ways of doing that. So if you want to get in touch with the COVID-19 acting groups on Facebook. Damien, well done. Thanks to my father-in-law and brother-in-law, John Gator and Wayne, and everybody from St John's Park. Lovely to hear the voices this morning. A caller rang from the UK listening to the programme live on the app. He asks people to beware of the scams that are going on in connection with COVID-19. Her elderly brother lives in Ballybricken and has had lots of callers to his door. So if you're one of those people that's had a caller regarding these scams, let us know, please. A lady also phoned 051 846 123 from Portlaw to say that there's some groups of teenagers hanging around in different villages in Portlaw at one stage. What's the situation there with that? And another person asking about Tallow, saying that there were some people walking around Tallow and weren't maintaining their social distance. Other people saying that there's some people travelling down to Dunmore into holiday homes there as well. Peter says, I'm from the city of Liverpool. I can't believe so many Irish people support Liverpool. Everton are the team that the Catholic Irish club in that city, says Peter. 083 3333 975. Now, in a minute, I'm going to be talking to Brian Tobin. Firstly, some of your texts and comments still coming in. As regards the people in holiday homes, they should be sent back to where they came from and be given a big fine. Always the same in Ireland, laws for everything, but no enforcement. Good morning. I got a COVID-19 test on the 13th of March. Still no results. This is madness. Please don't use my name. What is the situation? Contact your GP. Maybe they might have some idea of how quickly that might be returned. But there has been a waiting list. We know that up to 10 days. But as my understanding was, the last couple of days, the community care aspect, I suppose, of the HSE were ramping up the return of tests in terms of getting the reagents back. A man that thought he had COVID-19, Dr. Brian Tobin, good morning.
Good morning, Damien.
How are you?
I'm pretty good now. Happier that I don't have COVID-19 yet.
Yeah. You're originally from Waterford. Whereabouts? Tell us about the family background.
Yeah, sure. We're down the road there in Collins Avenue. I'm from Waterford, but lived out of it for quite some time. Studied in Dublin, working in Galway, as you probably saw from the Twitter profile as well. So, and I'm a doctor myself. But it's a PhD in law, so I'd be of no use to anyone who does have COVID-19.
You're studying, you're lecturing, as you say, a law lecturer in NUIG. Yes. What happened? Tell me about what happened to you, and I suppose the very positive experience you had at University Hospital Waterford.
Sure. So late Friday afternoon, round about tea time there, I just started to get immense chills. Within about 10 minutes, I went from being my normal self to someone who couldn't stay warm at all, and then to someone who became so warm I felt like I was going to burn up. Felt something was very wrong. Have an underlying medical condition as well. Thinking, okay, I don't quite fit the testing criteria. You know, I luckily didn't have shortness of breath or the cough. But the temperature was sky high, you know, temperature of 40. So very, very worried.
Wow.
Took myself to the A&E department because I thought, given the underlying condition and the temperature and just how unwell I was feeling, it would be best to go there. Got there and they wouldn't even allow my dad to come through with me, which I think is the right thing, you know, only the sick person going through to prevent us with spread and everything as well. And they were excellent, I must say. The quietest that I've ever seen that department, which, is maybe a good thing as well, that people are staying away unless they absolutely need to be going to the hospitals. Excellent treatment. Had the COVID swab, of course, because they too were worried about the temperature and the underlying condition and what have you. So it was a long waiting period. Well, for me it was. I mean, I'm hearing about people's test results taking weeks to come back. Mine took 8 hours, but in those 8 hours I was moved from a lovely isolation bay in the A&D department. I should point out that anyone coming in with suspected COVID, at least from what I saw, is put into one of those isolation bays they've got sliding doors and they close them. Staff are, gowned, masked, everything coming in and out to you. So everyone is kept safe and as protected as possible. You're then, because you're suspected COVID, while awaiting your swab result, they move you up to the Dunmore wing. I myself was taken to a place called the Pine Ward, which is a fantastic facility. All isolation rooms from what I could see. Spent some time in one of them. I was, must say, very anxious for those. It took 8 hours, as I say, for the swab result to come back. For those hours, very anxious, waiting for them to process that swab. But while up there, I noticed that the people dealing with me, you would first see them through a window. So there are windows looking into each of those isolation rooms, so you know who the person you're dealing with is. But then it was a nurse coming into me, and she was dressed like someone who was handling chemicals, for example. I could barely see her eyes through the visor, obviously for her own protection in case my suspected COVID turned out to be an actual COVID. Your dinner is kind of passed in. They open the door and just pass it in there on a tray, kind of like, but you don't come near them until they've gone away and close the door again. It's very, very safe, and there's wonderful distancing up there. So I think anyone, who goes to the isolation unit is very well looked after. Also, the Dunmore wing is fantastic. I think of it on the top floor. The views up there, there are windows down to the floor. If it's any help, the rooms are kind of like hotel rooms, so not too bad.
Very good. And you're, as you say, thankfully all okay. And you've been a bit unwell the last couple of days, but it's not COVID-19, which is the important thing. What goes through your mind, Brian, when you're thinking, God, I wonder, do I have this?
Yeah, well, you make yourself anxious. So even on the way to the hospital Friday evening, I had shortness of breath, but I didn't. I was anxious, and that kind of like probably mild panic attack sensation that I had maybe brought on myself. I'm like, oh, no, there's another symptom now, shortness of breath. What goes through your mind is, if I have it, am I dead? And I think that's probably an overreaction I had, or maybe one that many people have, because I think what we have to remember is the number of deaths in Ireland are low. The number of cases, yes, are, I think, rather high now, unfortunately. But, we mustn't automatically think that we're finished. Now, I did, but that's because, as I say, I have an underlying condition. I was convinced. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be here now. They say it finishes you off within like 72 hours and etc. So, yeah, a lot of panic and nervousness. And then, it's made better, I think, by the situation in the hospital, where you feel at least, you're being removed from other people. You're not going to give it to anyone else, and you're not going to be in where you can get anything that might compromise you as well. So I think it's a wonderful facility to have, the Dunmore wing, which is both attached to, yet so nicely kind of removed from the hospital too, to have that wing to treat as many people who need serious treatment if they are positive for COVID.
Brian, you've told your story very well. Do you want to say hello to anybody here?
I'd like to say hello to all my family and friends in Waterford and elsewhere, of course, and all my colleagues in Galway. And can I finally just say hello to my consultants, the doctors and nurses who've been looking after me here at UHW. They've all been brilliant. In particular, the team who virtually resuscitated me on Saturday night. They'll know who they are. Thank you very much.
Brian, lovely tribute to them, and well done. Thank you very much. Talk to you again soon. Take care, okay?
Bye.
Thank you very much. Dr. Brian Tobin there. with his story of very positive experience. And I want to say a special hello to all the families of loved ones who are in ICU at present in University Hospital Waterford. They're getting the utmost care, getting the best treatment. There is capacity there, as we know, and the staff there are doing a marvellous job. Somebody's texted in to say the hospital can run very, very well, and the will has been done and everything's been put in place very well. And I know the hospital manager, Grace Rothwell, is doing amazing work making sure all the teams and everybody, all the clinical directors are pulling together in there. So well done to everybody. Difficult times if somebody is in ICU, people are worried, but it's very positive in the sense that the care is phenomenal that they're being given. Damien, it's St John's Park. It'll always be St John's Park, a great place to grow up. Michael Breslin has texted in, love the show. It's a great comfort every day. I'm the sales manager in Sheridan's Garage. I miss meeting people, but I'm spending time with my 2-year-old daughter, Sophie. It's wonderful to have this time with her as my wife works on the front line. Michael, to you and to Sophie and everybody, take care. And next we have a wonderful story from Tomás os an Rhine. Nish Fulcher Rashbeg me kindle Tomás the Fuicha e cúpla no maid os an Rhine. Firstly, some nice texts in. Miriam says it was lovely to hear the voices from St John's Park. Her sister Kay and Billy in St John's Park this morning. Special hello as well to the Laverys this morning. Jack has texted in, I think the lockdown could continue until a vaccine is found. And other people texting regarding the dog walking. Here's a good idea. Even contact the local GA club. There are people willing within those clubs and other sports clubs to help out. It's a very, very good idea. So sports clubs may be able to help out. Good morning. Anybody know the answer to this? Asked this county listener. Can you advise an employer COVID-19 subsidy scheme from the government? If employers are keeping employees on the books and paying 80% or 75% of the wages, are the employers paying the tax on this? Or is it up to the employees afterwards to pay back when they're in employment? I don't know. Somebody might text us in about that. Other people saying, shame on those that have come from Dublin, Northern Ireland regs, English regs coming off the ferry, says some people coming to Dunmore and Tramore. Let us know what you think. Tomás de Fuicha, do you quit?
Hi Damien, come on.
Gohuntak ar fad, you are doing something crazy. You're looking at running 65 miles around the family farm for Cystic Fibrosis Ireland. Tell us about this.
I suppose I came up with the idea last week. I'm like everyone else, doing a load of painting and power washing, and I suppose the strange times we're living in, I suppose we could all do with a bit of a pick-me-up or something positive in our lives. So I basically just came up with the idea on the spot. So my niece has cystic fibrosis.
What's her name? Give her a mention if you want, and the family.
Aideen, and her siblings are Alva, Darren and Tomás Og, and her mum and dad, Breed and Tom.
And you had this light bulb moment. You just thought, because there is a fundraiser for Cystic Fibrosis Ireland, I think it's called 65 Roses or something, and that had to be cancelled, didn't it?
Correct, yeah.
So you had this idea, this light bulb moment of what? Running 65 miles? Is that, like, what are you going to do, Tomás?
Run 65 miles.
How are you going to do it? You're going to do it over how long a period? Or tell us about the course. Are you going to run the entire length of the farm, or what is it?
No, I'm going to basically stick to a tight lap of the house, which equates to about, I think it's 0.031 of a mile for every lap. So that comes to about just over 2,000 laps of the house.
2,000 laps of the house?
Yeah.
You might get a bit dizzy, huh?
Yeah. Sure. Look, we'll deal with it on the day, as they say. But look, it's only a small gesture. Me going through a bit of pain for a few hours is, I suppose, it's nothing compared to what people are going through at the moment in the country, like especially people on the front line and all that. And look, if I can raise a few bob for a good cause, what harm?
Yeah, no, it's a fabulous, it really is. And there's so many instances of people going beyond and doing things, as you say, outside the box that they'd never considered doing. On a practical thing, can people donate to cystic fibrosis, or what's the story regarding how are you working this out?
Yeah, so I think I started up with setting up a page and a GoFundMe account.
Yeah.
So basically, if you want to donate, go to GoFundMe and just search 65 miles for 65 roses. I've also set up an event page which has a link to the donation page. You can donate like that. Or I suppose another way is just to basically donate to cystic fibrosis in general. Tomorrow, Good Friday, was supposed to be their National Collection Day. So there's a lot of charities like CF have had their collection days cancelled, so they're taking a big hit. So I'd be really appreciative if people could, I suppose, find it in their heart to give a few bob. And that's it, really, I suppose.
Yeah, no, you've put it across well, and I'll give out that message again before the end of the show. Do you know a chap by the name of Keane Landers? Was he in your class in Coolnashmere?
I do. A great young man. And I have him on a list here of people I was going to say hello to.
Well, he just texted in there, or Laura texted in. Go on, do you want to say hello to? Who would you like to say hello to, Tomas?
I suppose I'd just say hello to my nieces and nephews, first of all. Aideen, Colmón, Mihal, Alva, Darren, Tomas Og, Paddy, Sive and Ruan. And then 6 very special young men, Diarmid, Michael, Cian, Daniel, Lucas and Oliver, all from Scullnave Gobnet there in Coolnashmere. Great school.
It is. I've heard some really good stories about it there. Fair play to you. Listen, well done. It's a great idea. It's a fabulous idea. How long do you think it's going to take you?
We'll see. I don't like putting a time on it, Damien. It kind of puts more pressure on yourself. So I'll just say it'll be what it'll be. I might struggle in for the last 10 hours or so, but we'll get there.
It's phenomenal. And in terms of the geography of the house, could people, some people come up and have a look at you running around? Can they see the house from the front, from the road outside?
Yeah, they can see the road from the road, and I might set up a couple of tables, but I will stress it's neighbours within 2 kilometres.
Of course, that's exactly it, yeah, and social
everyone
distancing.
Keeping the 2 metres apart, but I'll have a little table there with some mild Sean for the Poshdee as well, so
lovely.
Yeah, people are more than welcome to come up and watch me suffer if they have nothing better to be doing.
When are you going to do it?
I'm going to start at 4:30 tomorrow morning.
4:30 tomorrow morning.
Hopefully.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let us keep in touch if you can talk, and we might talk to you tomorrow as you're running around.
No problem.
It's phenomenal. It really is. It's just the thoughts of it just make my eyes water. I just think, my goodness. Listen, Tomas, Ganari and Tallad, it's really, really fabulous. Well done to you and all the family, and mind yourself. It's a great cause. Congratulations, okay?
Okay. Gurmila Mahagut, Damien.
Slán Fól, Tomas. Bíagwit, Slán Fól. Tomas the Fuicha there, us on Rhine, running 65 miles around his family farm for Cystic Fibrosis Ireland. Damien, no beating about the bush with people who've travelled to holiday homes. They're literally laughing at the law. They're prepared to have people die for their selfish matters. Their car should be impounded. Put them back home immediately. I'm cocooned. I feel angry. And that's from Christine in Waterford. Could you please say hello to my mother, Mrs. Bridget Flynn, 284 St John's Park. I miss her. Hope we'll see her again when this is all over. She'll be turning 83 in September. Love from daughter Caroline. Anybody out walking dogs, please clean up their mess. It's disgusting in some of the areas in Dungarvan here, says this texter. And great to hear Brian Tobin on the radio this morning from Uncle Pat and Sheila. Now, a person a lot of people you may know, David Leonard, who runs a business thinking outside the box on the Dunmore Road. His brother-in-law, Carl, Cahill is involved with a company in South Korea that supplied millions of test kits for COVID-19. He's been trying to organise connections and deals with the HSE, but has what can only be described, I suppose, as frustrating experience. Now, Carl lives on Villa Road in San Diego in the United States. He operates his business there and subsidiaries in Southeast Asia. I've been talking to him about the matter.
I have lived in the United States for close to 26 years.
Okay.
And I work primarily in the biotech sector. I started a new biotech company last year with a friend of mine who is a pioneer in the world of genetics. He runs a company, a multi-million-dollar company here in the United States and in Asia called EDGC Diagnostics. And I introduced him to the original funding for that company. Like with any public company, which is the case with my business partner's company, it is publicly traded on the Kosdaq in Korea. You grow the company typically by acquisition. So one of the companies that we acquired manufactures diagnostic tests, and one of the tests happens to be to test for the COVID-19 virus.
Okay.
Being that I'm originally from Dublin, I have a mother currently living in Dublin, and I also have a sister in Waterford in Ireland. I decided I would like to try to secure an allocation of tests for Ireland. I did initially attempt to contact the government on my own, but then sought the help of some friends locally in Ireland and did get some traction.
Okay.
You know, I have run up against some red tape, but this is not unique to Ireland. This is happening all over the world. I've experienced this in my discussions with the United States, with Canada, and various other countries. This test is approved in the EU. It is approved in South Korea. It was just approved this morning in Canada by Health Canada, and it is expected to be approved by the United States FDA within the next few days.
Is that the reason, Carl, do you think that the Irish government or the HSE didn't go for this originally, or did they give you any reason? Like, did you manage to get into some sort of negotiations with them, either through the help of the consulate, the embassy, or was it just through some associates that you knew?
Well, I was able to get in touch with the decision maker through a contact of mine in another government department. We didn't get to the point where we were involved in negotiations, because that would mean we were talking about order size and cost and all these different things. I never got that far along. I was told via email that at this point everything was under control. My contact information would be kept on record, and somebody would reach out to me if the need arose in the future. My response to that was that, you know, I'm reading information in the Irish newspapers, in the Irish media, that contradicts this response, and I'm concerned. In fact, I'm somewhat alarmed by the nature of the response.
Did this response come from the Department of Health or from the Health Service Executive?
From the Health Service Executive.
You think now or will there be a better chance of the HSE maybe looking at this because of the approval of the test? Do you estimate that didn't come into their consideration before this?
No, quite the contrary. I don't think they're concerned about approvals in the United States or Canada, especially given that there have already been approvals in the EU and in South Korea. They did ask me for documentation to back up, my various claims, which I forwarded them. That was not a problem. I think it's a case of perhaps miscommunication inside the government. to be perfectly blunt, I'm surprised. I understand the apprehension when you're dealing with people who are far away. I'm in the United States. The company that's manufacturing the product is in South Korea. However, my father worked for the Irish government for, 30 years. The gentleman that's put me in touch with them is inside the Irish government. I represent a publicly traded, successful biotech company that's run by a world-renowned geneticist. So, all the boxes are checked.
What was your father's name, by the way?
My father's name was Dr. Sylvester Cahill, and my father worked for the IDA in Dublin.
Very good. And you mentioned, as you say, your sister is living in Waterford. She's married to David Leonard, who contacted me initially about this.
Correct,
what's your sister's name? We'll say hello to her this morning.
Karen.
Hello, Karen. Effectively, can you tell me, Carl, what could you have provided, or what can you still provide through the, as you say, ancillary company, I suppose the best way to describe it, in South Korea, in terms of COVID testing that would help the situation in Ireland? Are we talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of tests that could be made available?
Yes, no, that's a very good question. I'm in a position right now to deliver tens of thousands of tests to the Irish government. However, my only concern now is, I've spent a month reaching out to them. During that month, Canada has approved this test. The US is about to approve it. And I will also add one other thing. In South Korea, various manufacturers of these diagnostic tests lobbied the South Korean Prime Minister, President Moon, to reach out to President Trump, which he did. And President Trump effectively gave this particular test his blessing. So now a significant percentage of the monthly manufacturing run is being diverted to the United States.
So even if the Irish government do come to you now and say, by the way, we'll take some of that product now, you may not be in a position to do so, as you say, because a lot of it has been pre-booked.
Yeah, so I believe I'm still in a position to deliver, but perhaps the timelines have shifted. So instead of, a week, it might be 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But I cannot emphasize how important timing is right now. So if somebody were to reach out today, I'm in a good position. If they delay and reach out in 3 weeks, then I cannot promise anything.
Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll contact the HSE, the Health Service Executive, and see what the situation is with that. And there's no problems regarding reagent and other matters of testing. That's
absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, so this just to give you some context. Already, in excess of 2 million tests have been sold by this company. So if there had been any problems earlier on, they were addressed. And so obviously it's been very reliable. And the fact that it is now passed Health Canada approval, it is expected to shortly pass US FDA approval, speaks volumes.
Okay, well, listen, we'll keep in touch. Carl, it's a pleasure to talk to you. And will you be making any further attempts to contact the Irish authorities, or just is it a wait-and-see game? Like, you have obviously enough business going on at present.
Well, so, if I'm being very candid, I am Irish. I have family living in Ireland. Someday I may want to move back to Ireland. So the health of my fellow Irish men and women is certainly a concern to me. So I am going to despite the response I've received, I am going to continue to reach out to the government, and I am, cautiously optimistic that something positive will happen.
Okay, and you're talking to us from Villa Road. We have a soccer club in Waterford called Villa, so they'll be glad to know that you're representing there from San Diego. Carl Cahill, CEO of themodernplant.com, and as you say, the subsidiaries and Centerp Incorporated. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Mind yourself and your family. How are you keeping yourselves over there?
My family and I are safe and healthy.
And that's an interview that I did with Carl. So we'll see if there's any follow-up on that. We've contacted and we'll contact the HSE about that. Keep your texts and your comments coming through, please. 083 3333 975. Text or WhatsApp. And if you want any other matters, please give us a call. 051 846 123.